You know the feeling. You get a burst of motivation. You map out a plan. You promise yourself, this time will be different. And then, within a week, sometimes within days, it collapses. A long day at work, a bad night of sleep, an unexpected demand. Something always arrives, and when it does, your standard shatters. Your problem comes down to ambition and structure. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control from Fitness to Flourishing. You had ambition, you had motivation, you had a plan, you had genuine commitment. What you lacked was a solid structure for change. Your standard was built for ideal conditions, not your typical everyday situations. The plan you designed assumed you would always have the energy, the time, the clarity, and the absence of disruption that you had on day one. You know, that day when you felt the time was finally right to make a change. It felt right because you could see the circumstances were ideal. And then, as it always will, life happened, and your structure couldn't hold. The pattern is predictable. You have an idea, you're ambitious, you overreach, you break, you need to reset. This pattern keeps people stuck for years because they keep building standards they cannot sustain in their current reality. You don't escape the restart cycle by trying harder. You escape it by building a standard that survives reality. The solution is to lower your standard. This seems like admitting defeat before even starting. But it's the smart play, because the standard needs to fit your actual life, not the idealized version of it. Level 1 is the antidote to the restart cycle. One non-negotiable standard, no missed days, consistency before anything else. This standard should feel too easy. I'm not being dramatic when I say it should feel embarrassingly simple. The kind of thing you could do on your worst day, in your worst mood, with the least energy you have. Because the moment your standard is too high, it becomes negotiable and it breaks. The moment you give yourself room to renegotiate at the moment of action, you've already lost. The habit hasn't been built yet. Your word has been broken. Your word has already been broken, and now you need to reset. A level 1 standard is built to prevent that. It stops you from negotiating with your commitment. It builds momentum that doesn't evaporate the moment life gets inconvenient, which it always does. Here's the process. Start smaller than you think you need to. Then, go smaller than that. Whatever you're planning to do less. Whatever time you've allocated, cut it in half. You are not trying to prove anything with this standard. You are building a foundation. Once you've established consistent follow-through, once showing up has become automatic, you can raise your standard. This is how you become more skilled over time. But this requires a solid foundation. Level 1 is that foundation. The other component is tracking. Tracking turns the invisible into something you can measure. The daily score becomes the running tally of who you're becoming. Not in the abstract, but in reality, in your actual behavior. It provides truth about your consistency. It gives you a clear target to maintain and then to improve. And it removes the negotiation. You either followed through today or you didn't. No interpretation possible. Consistency before anything else. Improvement, optimization, ambition. None of it matters if you cannot sustain it. If the foundation cannot hold under pressure, whatever you build above it will always be at risk. Level 1 is how you prove to yourself that you can do this. Not for a week, not until things get hard, always. Start smaller than you think you need to. Track it, stack it, show up without negotiation. Would you like to practice honing your skill in following through by starting smaller? I've built a place for that. On April 2nd, I'm launching a school community called Exercising Self-Control. Inside, you earn your ACT score by stacking days you don't break. Miss a day, it resets to 0. Start your streak, raise your standard only when you've proven you're ready, and close the gap between intention and action. The link to join the waitlist is in the show notes. That's it for today. Catch you next time.